Hello and welcome to Genie podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to Christina Aguilera and her artistry, as well as connecting the community of fighters behind her. Today I have the amazing Diego. You'll remember him from season 1. Hi, Diego.
Hello, I love that from season 1. I'm a recurring character.
Yes! Yeah, because you've already been on a couple of times. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invitation. I love being here.
Yeah, of course. And today we're going to be talking about Stripped, but also kind of her evolution from debut to Stripped and how she broke the pop princess mold for like all future acts of pop stardom.
Let's go. I love that topic. I'm such a huge Christina fan, but especially like that era. Like I felt that I was there during like the 2000s and the Strip era and the beginning of her career. So I love that topic. Let's have some fun.
That's the perfect introduction to like the first point is that, well, because of how deep she was with Stripped, she was really vulnerable and she really like connected. And so I think that's why most of her fans will connect to the album first instead of saying like a debut.
Yeah, it is really hard to connect to debut. I think debut was like the background soundtrack for very fun young nights. It's like you have Genie in a Bottle, you have What a Girl Wants, Come On Over Baby. These are like summer jams. But then when you peel like the cover from who Christina Aguilera was presented as, you can see what Strip is really about, what Christina is really about, like that deep core that pretty much separate her from the rest of the teen pop stars that were coming out throughout that moment.
Yeah, exactly right. And so there was just like, it, the debut had hits, and it's pretty good for like a superficial black pop album. But you really didn't know who Christina Aguilera is as like a person, as an artist.
Yeah, like it was really hard for the producer, like from the producer's point of view, like to figure out how to market this, 16-year-old girl at that time with this 40-year-old voice and experience and soul. Like it was really hard for them. I think they did the best that they could do because if you listen to the view, you have like Genie in a Bottle, Come On Over, When You Put Your Hands on Me, but you also have Obvious and Bless and these like soulful ballads that she really loves. And they kind of tell you who she really is.
Oh, that's a really good point. It's just because like, how she really wanted to be like a vocalist, but that's not really like what what RCA was looking for. And so that's why they pushed her, is because like it was marketing. And yeah, they did a pretty good job, especially because, she wanted to sing.
Yeah, actually she wasn't very happy with Genie in a Bottle being the first single. She wanted to be Obvious or Blessed, one of those two, which really show her vocal range. But yeah, I'm very grateful that she had that era, like the debut era, because when Strip came along, you knew who Christina Aguilera was. And that shock value that we received when Christina Aguilera was introduced with Dirty, when she was let loose, it boosted the interest from people because you knew her from before, from this Mickey Mouse Club looking girl to be this pop star, this sex symbol at 21.
Right. And we really wouldn't have never gotten a Stripped if she wasn't so frustrated with her management, with the record label, with how she was kind of being abused by the music industry. She probably would never have given us a Stripped.
Especially Fighter. We would have never had Fighter, which is my favorite song.
Oh yeah, because you have your tattoo.
Yep, back there.
Oh my gosh. I learned in the last episode with Jake that he also has a moth tattoo because of Fighter.
There you go. Yes.
Yes.
Fighter.
Oh my God. Okay, what did you think? Because she really was like risking her entire career. She really had to like fight with her record label at the time, RCA, to have some creative control. And I don't know if you remember, but Ron Fair, you remember how she had to like fight with Ron Fair that she really wanted to executive produce this album, that she had a vision, and he kind of just like let her go with it?
Yeah, especially because she proved that she wanted this. Like she had a very high work ethic. Like she was working herself out. She released the debut, then the Christmas album, then Mi Reflejo, and she was like touring everywhere. She was losing weight as crazy. And like she was showing up and she won I don't know how to say, like, an original flavor Grammy. And she also won, like, the Latin Grammy. So she proved herself at a point that she was like, here I am, let me do what I know I'm good at. Like, let me show who I am. My baby.
I didn't even realize that until like more recently, just how close each one of the first 3 albums was to each other. Like she was working nonstop. And besides that, she did a tour with TLC, and then she did her first solo tour. And then, even before she did Stripped, she did Lady Marmalade and was promoting that. Like she really was like a workhorse, and they were working her to the ground.
And she has been like that since she was a kid. Like, she was going to all of these talent shows, then, like, Star Search, and then, like, this monthly competition where she go on again and again to, like, the winner of that week. Like, she has been working nonstop since she was a kid to get to this point.
And no wonder, like, fighters are not, like, always the happiest with, like, her producing album after album, like, so far in between. Because she's tired.
Of course.
And she's a mom.
She is. And also, I appreciate the fact that she takes time to show you who she is at one specific point. Because when you listen to a Christina Aguilera album, you can, like, what is going on in her life and in her mind. Like, she gives you herself as an artist 100%. It is not like just these ghost writers and producers and putting music out because we have to say no. It's like, this is where I am right now. This is my artistry right now. I have always appreciated that.
And then, how she emphasizes that, like, she didn't just go to the record label and they just present her with songs that are already, done. She really needs to, like, feel them and connect with them. And I think I appreciate that of her. How do you think with the risk of turning from the clean act to the dirtier thing, how do you think she went for as a brand? Like, how did she... I believe it was believable because, at the time she was turning 21. So this is like, where people that, at 21 are going out to drink, going out to clubs. I felt like it felt, cohesive? Just like, this is her. And I think she took a lot of risks. Because, like, I know at 21, I never would have done, like, even the cover that you're wearing right now. Like, I never would have put that much risk. Yeah.
As you say, I think it was very cohesive with reality. The thing is, you have this person that has grown up in front of everybody since she was in the Mickey Mouse Club, and looking at her becoming a woman in front of everyone, like, that is the difference, because I went through that a little bit older. Of course, I was a little bit older through everything, but she was exposed to everything way younger than I was. I was exposed to her, for example, way younger than she was. And I think it was very authentic. I think it was her becoming herself. And as I have said before, in the Strip tour, in the DVD, you can see her going beast mode. Because that is her as a performer. And she was like so in her element and so happy showing what she could do. And with like the budget, like the increment in the budget from the previous album and the freedom that she had at that point. I think she was very happy with that. And also, I know it was a risk, but it was like, I guess she was thinking, what am I risking here? Do I really want to keep being this pop princess? Do I want to be like this red hair bubblegum princess for the rest of my life? Or I want to show who I really am? Because I can see that tendency with a lot of the previous Disney Channel lineup. Miley, Selena, Demi, like they have their Strip album. Selena has Revive. Demi Lovato has Tell Me You Love Me. Miley Cyrus has like her own thing. I think her Strip would be...
Could it be Can't Be Tamed?
I think that was a try, but then she was like really, really there with the twerk song. What's the name of that one?
Bangers. Oh yes, you're right. That was
We Can Stop. I think that was the Strip.
She tried
yeah. And I think those albums, they show you where people are at a certain age. That Christina Aguilera did it at the beginning of the internet. It was like, now you have the world on you. So she was, to my eyes, one of the first. And to my life, she was the first to show me that.
No, you're so right. And that kind of like leads to like the next like area I want to talk about is just like how she, and also before her, Madonna and Janet, kind of like really set the precedent of like what a pop star could be. And it wasn't just going to be manufactured, but they really wanted to be an artist. Even if it was like a pop music, you can really show like a range. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, I always say that to my life, from my perspective, Christina was that girl, because I wasn't really there when Madonna and Janet were doing their stuff. And I think when Madonna came out, she came out like very... No, because Like a Virgin wasn't her first album. So she also had, like, I think her strip was maybe Like a Virgin. But I don't know how much from Madonna is in that album.
Right.
And I know that Janet started with her brothers as well, like, as a little kid.
No, yeah, totally. Because, like, I guess because we weren't... Maybe we were too young for that. Like, I guess, what would she have? Janet's would probably be, like, Control or...
Yes.
1984, I think. And then, you're right, actually, when you were thinking about Madonna, just because, you know, she did have that shocking moment, but as far as, like, an artist and getting to know Madonna, like, the actual, like, human and artist, I feel like that probably wasn't until later with, like, definitely with, like, Ray of Light for me, because, like, then she got way more personal.
Sure, I get that. Even though the exploration, you have the sex album. What is a sex album?
Erotica.
That one, sure. But yes. I think that she explored something very deep before doing her self-introduction as artist. Yeah. Because at the beginning you have her Genie in a bottle that is Holiday or Lucky Star, which is her What a Girl Wants. So yeah, you have like she going like out of the against the grain. It would be Like a Virgin, which was this like over sexualized situation. I love pop divas.
Yeah, I think that's one because like I love Madonna, but I also am not familiar with like the first couple of albums. So maybe that's something I need to go look into. But also Janet.
Janet, yeah.
Yes. Well, and then you also mentioned because she did, like Madonna and Janet before her, that she, they brought... I'm glad that you said Tell Me You Love Me, because I love that album by Demi Lovato. And it really was kind of like her Stripped. And so with Stripped, she made it... that was directly, like Demi, Selena, they all kind of like reference directly and say that Christina was an influence. Like she was the reason they thought it was possible to be this artist and a pop star.
And the fact that the Selena album, Revive, I think is the name of it, Revival. The album cover is like very reminiscent to this one.
Yes.
And Tell Me You Love Me by Demi Lovato, the album cover is black and white as the three of albums that we mentioned before. That's fun. Yeah. I think that's fun. Yeah.
Maybe that's like a prerequisite. It's like for your deepest album, you have to be like either naked and it has to be black and white.
There you go, no makeup, because what? This is me, natural. What? Stripped.
And with Stripped, when she came back with that album, she gave us so many different genres. We have Fighter, that's more rock. Dirty, which is hip-hop, pop. And then she gives us Soulful Numbers with Soar.
Impossible.
What? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Makeover
I can't
is like
that's my favorite.
Its own thing. I don't know how to classify Makeover. I Keep on Singing My Song. That is like a very mature song from that album for that age. I wasn't ready for that song, and I have to tell you that I rediscovered that song not long ago. Now that I understand the language better, now that I understand music language better, like I love that song now, but it took me like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, because I was too young and I haven't been through anything back then. But now that I have been through life, I get it, Christina. I get it. I keep pushing.
Which is crazy because, like, you and I are a bit older and she had to go through all of that and she was only 21.
I completely agree. Yeah, I realized how sheltered I was. I wasn't exposed to everything that she was exposed at the same time. No, at all.
Right. And then, so, like, as an actual album, like, I love it. But also, it works because it's so, like, different. Like, well, with the genres. So, what did you think? Because it does work somehow, but really, like, from an outside standpoint, she really does everything on the album, genre-wise.
Yeah, I was talking about that to a friend long time ago, And we said that Stripped is such a beautifully imperfect album because it is not cohesive. It is very eclectic. It is like full of everything. You have a little bit of rap, a little bit of Latin influenced music, a little bit of R&B with Alicia Keys. You have a little bit of like urban sound with Dirty, and you have this ethereal kind of flavor with Get Mine, Get Yours, and you have this deep chorus, like church kind of thing with Soar and Cross. Is that the pronunciation of it? Cross? Cruise?
Is it? Cruise.
Cruise? Okay, there you go. So you have so many flavors in the same album. Yeah. I think it's an amazing piece to show you what music can be. Because if you love a certain kind of music, you would love at least one song in that album. And because I love that woman, I love everything at this point.
Right now, at your current age, also happy birthday, by the way.
Oh my God, thank you! Thank you so much. Yes, I'm a Pisces.
Oh yes. Which is great, because Pisces, Capricorn, they get along really well. We'll be fine. Okay, so in your current year, like, what is your favorite song in right now from Stripped?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I know that I overreact for this situation, but it's like, these are crucial questions that have like built up the person who I am. At this point in time, I would say Walk Away is one of the songs that I have treasured since I understood the lyrics of it. I know that a lot of people have been like in that situation or going through something really hard like that. And it is not only the theme, it's also the live performance in Live at UK that you can get the DVD. Also, the music. Like, it is a beautiful piece of music. It is so deep, so dramatic. And the way she performs this song, I was prey in your bed and devoured completely. Ooh, and it hurts my soul and I can't let go. Girl, what about you? What about you?
I feel like I don't listen to that one not nearly as much but it is a beautiful song. And I even remember like what she was wearing from that strip, which is behind you, by the way. I love your setup.
Yes, please.
But you know, she had that little like bowler hat and then her tie, and she's dramatically like pulling the chair behind her. Yeah. That was a great performance.
And she had the stripper in the tour, which was very controversial at the time. It was like, oh my God, the strip tour is not a tour for kids. Like, Christina Aguilera has a stripper getting naked on stage with her. But it's also this vulnerability that she's showing you because she's stripping herself in front of the stripper, who is supposed to be the one who takes his clothes off, but she's like, here I am, taking off my jacket, taking off my hat, showing you who I am, being vulnerable, naked, in front of you. I love that song. Everything about it. Oh my God, stop me.
No, you're good. I love the enthusiasm. And you're right. But also, even if he was like taking off his clothes, she was really also talking about, the toxic relationship and how that like pull, and of course she knows better and that she should walk away from, but she just keeps like coming in. It's like that moth to a flame. Oh, which is probably why it segues into Fighter.
There you go. And the way it goes into Fighter from this hardcore ballad goes into this hardcore pop rock influence song, the way they meld into each other, beautiful. Yes,
and I feel like that was like probably one of the first times that I've ever like heard that a segue in like a pop song like go, and it was like so seamless. It was so good. I think we have Scott Storch to thank for that.
Who?
Scott Storch.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. Do you wanna tell fighters who that is? Maybe they don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Who Scott Storch is?
Sure.
Do we want to? Okay, yeah. So I talked about it briefly on the Jake episode, but Scott Storch was one of the two main producers on Stripped. And on Jake's episode, he and I kind of had a mini discussion about how like Linda gets all the credit, but Scott Storch did Can't Hold Us Down. He did Walk Away, right? What else did he do?
Fighter. I think Fighter as well.
Not impossible. Oh, duh, Fighter. Loving Me for Me. So it's amazing that not only did Christina show us all the vocal styles that she was capable of, but that she also found the producer in Scott Storch that was able to take her along. They went along on that journey together. So they worked together, and it's just because, Fighter's so different from Walk Away, which is, and then Loving Me for Me is a soft, like, ballady, kind of like neo soul, would you say? That Loving Me for Me?
It is very different in the same album. Yes. Like, I feel all the songs, like, they kind of go together even though they are very different, but that one really stands out. Actually comes from an intro. Like, that song needed its own intro.
Yes. And so, like, what Jake and I had kind of mini discussed was that, Linda gets all the credit for the album, but really didn't have, or Scott Storch had just as much, like, credit for the album as producer.
Yeah.
And then as far as their relationship, we'll have to talk about that in a different episode. I have something planned. They had a mini falling out, and that's all we're going to tell you about that for now. What we have left is just talk about Stripped, and we just celebrated the 25th anniversary. Do you have the vinyl?
No, but I want to get it. The one that I have over here is like the original version, but I want to get the 20th anniversary. I wasn't here in the States. Now that I'm here, I'll get it somehow.
Oh yeah, I don't have either one, so that's going to be something I get. Yeah, and I don't know, is there a difference? Is I Will Be on the new vinyl?
I'm not sure. I actually think that it's only in the digital version, but I know the cover is different. Like, the material is different. It's like translucent
okay.
It's like metallic, actually. It's like metallic.
Oh, well, if anything, yours is great too, because yours is the original.
I love it.
Yes. Oh
and this is actually the original album that I got 20 years ago. I remember I was in the hospital and my grandmother took it over there. So the first time that I listened to the whole album, it was in a hospital bed. And this copy over here.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And survived all those years. Do you have Back to Basics on vinyl?
I do not.
Me neither.
I do not.
Okay, and so recently I was like online and I want to collect them, all of them vinyl. And I looked at it and it's like ridiculous. It's like, I found one, it was like $900.
Yes, they do that. Yeah, I remember that I got the Falsas Esperanzas remix, the single. It was a $350 in Amazon. That was a birthday present from a friend. But those things are very expensive. Like, if you know what you have, it can be very, very valuable. And actually, on my birthday, I just got the Pero Me Acuerdo de Ti single. I almost died when I got it.
The CD single?
The CD single. I think I have it
Oh my gosh.
around here.
That's, whoever got that for you really knows you. Like, that's a great present.
It is. Oh
my gosh. So like with the rebellion, so she rebelled against the record label, her producer, basically everybody who, was, because she was their cash cow. She was making money for all people, and she basically told them that she doesn't want to do that anymore. And then she rebelled against society because of like the standards that women were being held to, and that she was supposed to be a good role model for the children, but also be sexual for the adults for the appeal. What did you think about her having to live all of these things for other people?
That's really hard when you are a public figure. It's like, this is a life you chose, because you can also be an independent artist and being just performing on local festivals. This is the life that you chose, and this is now pretty much like people are used to that is part of being a celebrity, being an artist. And that you have to, especially at that age, you grow up in front of everybody. I think it was necessary, and especially I'm very happy that she chose to be authentic to who she was and putting out the message that she put in Strip, which is not the message, because I think more than 7 songs in that album, that very lengthy album, have messages. I can say, and I know it sounds wrong when I say it, but also think that this album came out 20 years ago. But I always say that I learned in how to treat women because of Can Hold Us Down. 20 years ago, I was 19, 18, living in Venezuela, which is a very chauvinistic country in Latin America, and you are taught that women are supposed to be in one place. But with my limited English, I understood the lyrics from Can't Hold Us Down, and I was like, yes, Christina Aguilera, which is a woman, a very powerful woman that I respect a lot, is saying this. And I have to find a way to take out all the crap that was put into my head by society and actually realize how things are, and how are things the way she's saying it in Can't Hold Us Down. And women and men are equal. And everybody is equal. Equality. And that message has been going around for years. But the fact was that Christina Aguilera brought it to me. And the way she sees things and Can't Hold Us Down made me change my perspective. So I'm very grateful that she stopped being this pop princess.
Oh, that's an interesting point also, because of being in Latin America. What do you remember at all? What kind of the backlash of her shedding that and becoming more sexual? Because here in America, she was labeled as a hoe and all the names. What was it like there?
I would say, you have two different perspectives. You have the perspective from people who don't understand the language, so they are only seeing the music videos, and now you have someone in underwear and rolling on water. And it's oh my God, don't look at that. Oh my God, what is she doing? Oh my God, she was a kid. Why is she doing that now? But now they listen to Beautiful or The Voice Within or Soar, and they don't really get the meaning,
the full
of
message.
Everything.
Yes.
The full message of everything. They only see what you say. Aho. But you have people of my age back then that I was growing up. I remember I was in high school and people were asking me, what do you think about the new Dirty Christina Aguilera? And I was like, that's awesome. That's great. I'm not a kid. I'm not watching Teletubbies anymore. Genie in a Bottle was fun, but this is what I like now. And that was her in that moment. So the authenticity of everything was going through the screen and reaching out to who I was in Venezuela back then.
And that's also a really good point, because she really could, have that influence. Because a lot of people, celebrities, they don't want to talk out about something, but just to know that she helped form your notion on how to treat women, I never thought about that.
Totally, yes. And I'm telling you, it sounds horrible, but it is this was 20 years ago with a different mentality. I was talking to people back then, and sometimes I would think, not say it, but I would think, why are women doing that? Or, of course it's a woman, she doesn't know how to drive. Or, why do you fight like a girl? All of those things that you grow up listening to, and then I have this song in the back of my head telling me this from my girls all around the world, and I'm like, yes. This is the kind of things that I have to think about when I think that women are not the same or they are not equal. No. That song formed me a lot. And that album in general formed me a lot. Fighter, I have that tattoo in my back because it has made me survive situations. So that album, that piece of work, that's the Bible. Yes.
Oh my God. I love that. And I feel I didn't realize that until just seeing your connection to it. But yeah, I remember being a teenager and being queer. I would probably have to silence everything outside of myself, and probably would I remember bringing the CD along with me and just listening to that nonstop, because this is how I would get through, junior high school. Yeah. Just that connection. So I love that you connected, and also it helped to get you through hard times too.
Totally, yeah. And I feel that it has been a bless in disguise, I think is the saying. The fact that I have been understanding English more and more throughout my life, because I have been discovering songs throughout my life the moment that I need them. I'm telling you, Keep On Singing My Song is a song that I discovered last year. I was going through it. And suddenly this track number 20 from this very lengthy album came up, and it was like, you know what? Maybe let's listen to that song this time. And it was like, yes, I can do it because this song is telling me that I can do it.
You mentioned it was a different time, and Steve and I talked about it on another episode about the sexual liberation. It was a hard time for females in general, but also female pop stars. You know, remember with Christina, but also with Britney and Jessica, like, you were either too fat, too skinny, you spoke too much. What do you think of Stripped and how it transformed? And now I feel like it's more acceptable to have a whole, like, personality. And also, I think as a society, we've moved forward, hopefully. And whereas, do you think Stripped would have that same impact if it were released today?
I think so. I think so because the way, first of all, what Stripped is really about, it is very current. We can still see everything that Christina Aguilera thought back then. It's still a situation right now. And Beautiful was very important for gay movement. But like now, 20 years later, she brought back this same song, but with a new music video, a new point of view about social media and the way we treat each other. I think everything that Strip was talking about back then is very relevant right now as well. Sexual liberation. You have songs like Get Mine, Get Yours. I was in a monogamous relationship for 13 years of my life. And then the moment that I was free from that relationship, I was like, oh, so this is what Get Mine, Get Yours is about. It is still relevant. It is still relevant. People, safe sex. Use PrEP. But yeah, it is very, very relevant at this point. Can Hold
It really
Down,
is.
it's still an anthem. Dirty, bitch, let me loose. Let's go. Soar, you can use that song to wake up every day and still would give you, like, the rush that you need. Oh my god,
Right?
yes.
Like, inspire you.
Yeah, The Voice Within, an anthem. Infatuation, I think Infatuation is a very specific song to like survive well throughout the years. Especially because now I know Jorge is gay. And it's like, now it's like a funny song when I listen to it. It's like, girl, he's gay. No.
Yes. It's a crazy that she didn't know.
Yeah. When you listen to the Strip intro, and if you are there, like if you were there, you can listen to Fred Durst's voice, the Britney comparisons, the TRL host speaking, Britney and Christina comparison, and like you hear all of these headlines from the media and the way she was being presented, and now I'm gonna take the narrative of my life and this is me, it's just me stripped. The fact that you can do that back then, and if you have never listened about Christina Aguilera and you have someone who wants to introduce you to who she is and the person listens to that track, they will have so many questions. It's like a great conversation starter for who Christina Aguilera is. I think the album has held itself so well throughout the years. It doesn't sound dated. The topics are still relevant and they are not random topics. They are not, I'm gonna make a song about candy. I'm gonna make a song about boy. I'm gonna make a song about... No, it's like, I'm gonna make a song about sexual liberation, about me being a woman, being in control of my sexual experience, and we're still talking about if abortion or not should be legal in places. We shouldn't be having these conversations anymore. I think like she treated topics of that relevancy back then. I love this woman.
And you're so right, because like they're so universal, and unfortunately, you know, we are still striving to like fight through for things that every human should have.
Yeah, and they are relevant topics, and they are not shallow, even though they are very universal. Which you can talk about love. Let's make an album about love. Let's make an album about the dance floor. But these are universal topics, but they are also very deep. They are not shallow. I love this album. Have I said that before?
A few times. But with that, I think that's a great way to end this episode. Everybody go listen to Stripped. What song should they listen to right now? Like,
right
the first
now,
song.
Fighter! Go there! Yes! Fighter! All the way!
Excellent. Thank you so much, Diego, for being on this episode. We're definitely going to have you on again.
Of course. Thank you so much for the invitations. And for those fighters out there, leave in the comments which is your favorite song from the strip.
Excellent. Thank you.